Shine for the stars, baby. Don't shine for the rocks. No.
Yeah.
Go up, baby. All right?
Joe,
That's
I
all
like
gotta
that.
say.
Shine for the stars,
Oh,
not the rocks.
Not
okay,
the rocks,
baby doll. Hey, guys. Welcome to another episode of On Display with Melissa Gorga. And hold on, I have a few guests with me today, but I just, I want to have my moment to say hi to my listeners without the two extras that I brought today. But I've blessed you guys with two of my favorite men that I have with me today. We are actually down at my shore house. I have Joe Gorga with me today. Hi, Joe Gorga.
What's up? The one and only.
The one and only.
That's right.
And I also have my favorite cousin, Nick Marco, in the house.
The favorite. You're going to get a lot of shit for that. Hi.
Well, you know what? You're like the only boy. I mean, that doesn't live in Virginia, pretty much, right? I mean,
Good recovery.
I'm allowed to say that because you can be like the favorite boy cousin. All of our cousins are girls. Right?
Yes. No, it's true.
All of our cousins are girls, basically. But what's up, everybody? What's up, Nick?
This is so spontaneous. We're doing the three of us. And, this is typical Gorga fashion, right? Every second something changes. And, I'm now helping them with the cameras. And now I'm here being part of the podcast between the two of them. So it's very exciting.
You know, guys, I'm used to doing my podcast in my podcast room where I'm all set up and the lighting's correct. And I am traveling a lot this summer, and I did not want to skip out on my listeners and not give you episodes. So I brought all of my podcast equipment down to the shore house. So we are currently looking at the bay. What bay is this, Nick? What is this called? The Barnegat Bay?
Barnegat Bay.
You're the smart one.
That's probably wrong. I don't know.
No, I think this is the Barnegat Bay.
Yeah.
Are we looking at the Barnegat?
Ever since I moved to Asbury Park, I've lost all sense of my Ocean County knowledge. It's terrible.
Oh, God. Joe, this is the Bay.
Shame on you guys. You guys grew up here and you don't even know where you
think
grew
it's the
up.
Barnegat Bay.
I know where the Pacific River is in Passaic County.
River? You mean the Passaic River?
Whatever it is.
Oh,
I know,
my God.
I know where that is. You guys don't know. It's a shame.
Yeah, for my listeners out there, I'm wearing full beach gear today. I have my beach little
Take
sweater
that off.
on.
What the hell are you wearing there for?
I'm looking a little beachy today for our beach podcast.
It's a shame.
But yeah, we're down the shore, and we just kind of decided instead of doing two separate podcasts, we're going to mesh it into one big podcast. I figured let's just all give our opinions instead of split it up. So I'm excited. First off, Joe, how you doing, honey? How's life?
I'm doing great, babe. Everything's good, living a dream. I woke up this morning, eyes open, freedom, happiness. I'm good.
Tell everybody how crazy you are. We live an hour and a half from our shore house to our house up north in Franklin Lakes. And he just drives back and forth like it's nothing. He's like, I got to go to work. He gets up 5 o'clock. We're out drinking. We're out at dinner. We're out doing whatever the night before. He literally will get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, drive home. This was yesterday? And then he drives back in time to go to the beach with all of our friends. It's insanity. You are a special human with your work.
Gotta work, honey. You got to keep it going.
Right? You're a little special that way.
When the cat's away, the mice will play.
What does that mean? That sounds like you're going to be naughty somewhere. What the hell what did that mean? Are you serious?
He's literally a savage, though. I will give him, what did you do? You went to, you drove up north today?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
He's amazing in that way. He really is, energy-wise, I try to be on his level. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, it's weird. It is to match Joe Gorga's energy is next level. Even his, one thing that's crazy, and Nick, you can vouch for me on this, even the way he can handle his alcohol and get up at 5 o'clock the next morning. There are no hangovers. It's crazy. And you'll do shots with these guys if they make you do shots. Now the new thing is whenever we see people out at a bar, if we ever run into fans, everybody wants to buy Joe a shot because he just comes off as the party guy. So now he never says no, where I will kindly decline. Joe will be like, sure, of course I'll do a shot with you. Of course I'll do a shot with you. Of course. And I look at him at the end of the night and I'm like, wow. And he just gets up in the morning like it's nothing and goes to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, It's insanity.
I got to keep that image going, babe. I can't deny the shot.
You're allowed to,
Everybody's
like...
No, deny it. Even if, like, women come up to me, they're like, can we have sex? I'm like, yeah.
Joe,
can't deny
oh, my God. You sound like... Do you see what I mean? This is where you lose people and you confuse people. And they're like, is Joe a good guy or is he just kidding? Like, they're not sure.
It's called laughter, honey. Comedian. I say shit to her. She gets crazy.
Oh, my God.
If a girl comes up to me, I really want you, Joe. You're so handsome. I'm like, all right, I can't deny. I have to know. Right? Melissa will kill me.
She'll literally kill you. But yeah. He's teasing. He's just teasing, of course.
Well,
yeah.
What? Well, I'm happy to have you both in the room today because before we get into, obviously, I had such a reaction from all of my fans, from everyone on Instagram, the DMs, the emails, the messages that I received from Nick's wedding and Joe officiating it was, guys, so overwhelming. I don't know if I've ever had something that impactful other than like, obviously the christening and like milestones that happened in our lives. But this was a huge milestone with you guys and Nick for allowing the show to actually film your wedding. So I want to get in. So just know that we are definitely going to discuss that and you'll know why you didn't see more of the wedding. You'll know the little bit of behind the scenes of Joe Gorga practicing to do this and really just like how there was a little drama going on at the wedding as well. Even for our production, like production came to me at one point and they were like, Melissa, we don't know what to do. Like, should we just leave? And I'm like, so we are going to get into that and how stressful it was for production as well. I actually felt so bad for my cameraman and my production, our showrunners were like, Melissa, what do we do? So we're going to give you all. It was
stressful for me. Forget about the show.
And Joe was extremely stressed as well.
We'll get to that. It was bad.
We're going to get to this all, and we're going to like give you a little behind the scenes of what went down at this wedding before the wedding even started. But before we get into that, guys, I need to talk about like this situation with a Real Housewife of Dubai that just seems to constantly want to mention my name. She just wants to mention my name when I have no idea why. I don't approach her. I don't follow her. I don't know her. We were at the same party once for 2 Teas in a Pod with Tamara and Teddy had a party once at BravoCon. And I believe Chanel was there. But I just have no idea why this woman just constantly is analyzing me, wants to put my name in her mouth. It's actually really confusing for me to figure out why she's doing this. The only thing I can think of is, listen, it's, I've been here a long time. I've been on Bravo for 14 years. Jersey is one of the big franchises. I don't play in the mud. I don't randomly call out other housewives on other franchises for absolutely no reason.
But I'm a little lost. What did she say?
We're going to get to that. But I don't call out other housewives for no reason on other franchises. It's not my style. It's not what I do. It's not the way I look for clout. I do get, though, that maybe that's how other people need their clout, or they need to come for the big dogs that have been here for a long time. And I do think she's probably trying to please someone too. But with all that said, she said, she wants to keep my name in her mouth for some reason. She's talking about my followers and the fact that I have so many more followers than a lot of the housewives and much more than a lot of my cast members, and she's questioning that. And what annoys me about that is, I've built this platform off authenticity, off of showing you guys my real life. And if you're going to come at me about my honesty or my authenticity, it's just something that's been here from day one for me, that I've always been very real with the fans, whether it be on the show or whether it be on Instagram. I think people need to realize that people met my children also at a very young age. I have built a whole entire store, a multi-million-dollar store, from the ground up as a young mom with 3 kids that the fans have watched me grow, and I have marketed that into what it is. So at some point, I think I just should get a little credit that I might just be good at what I do, and that when you give relatable content, you know, the followers come. So I don't know, guys, like, what do you think? Like, why do you think this woman is just calling me out? It's crazy because I actually love her cousin. Her cousin is Uba from the New York Housewives. And I think that she's like the sweetest, the best. And I just can't figure out why this woman, other than the fact that I know she's been to my sister-in-law's wedding, she's friends with Jen Aiden, but that's just weak. Like this
there
woman
it is.
No, but she's a strong woman. She's actually a really strong woman. She's not a pushover. You know, I just started watching that show, and I actually enjoy watching the show. So I'm like, what is her reason for just like saying that? Why do she's questioning why I have more followers even than Erica Jane. Well, I was on TV like 3 to 5 years longer than Erica Jane was.
Maybe they don't have a husband that's got pythons like this. You know what I mean,
my
babe?
God.
That helps you out. You never throw me in there.
That's why I have more followers.
Yeah.
They want to look at Joe's muscles.
Yeah, look at these
Don't you
things.
guys know? It's because they want to look at Joe's muscles.
You know?
And listen, I know this could be a tad bit petty, and this is why I don't do this. This is why I don't go tit for tat. You guys know me, and my fans know me. I mean, a lion never turns its head when a small dog barks. Okay, let me just say that. And it's not my style to do that. But I feel like to completely ignore someone making this accusation against me, and it's not the first time. So I'm starting to realize it's a pattern of who says these things. And let's just take note, the other person who realized that I have more followers than the rest of my cast members was Alexia from Miami, who is also a very dear, great friend of my sister-in-law. So someone must be saying, you know, oh God, no, the only reason she has more followers is, you know, for these reasons, which it's so weak, guys. Come on. We got the formula now.
All the villains hang out, huh?
I mean,
these villains, they like to hang out with each other. They're just mad at something.
It's
I'd
just
be happy in life.
I don't know if we can call them villains or what, but like, what's the reason? Like, what's the reason to try to break someone else down on something that I have built for a long time? And the two of you have watched me build this platform for how many years, right? You've watched me roll this up, and my followers slowly grow.
What do you
Any
think,
thoughts
Nick?
on this?
I was gonna say, let me just jump in, just because I feel for my cousin. I think she's struggling to even like get involved with some of the pettiness. You know, I think that what you bring to the table when it comes to just the franchise and just being a real housewife is that you are real. You're very real, and you're also, you struggle with being, you know, in a position where you feel like you put other women down, you know, and bring them down for no reason. You know, the reality is you're on a platform that you can grow organically by just the authenticity, as you mentioned, of your content. And you just do that very well. And it's why when I first came on your podcast, I wanted to shout out and just commend you, how impressed I am of you, of just what you've been able to do by being fortunate enough to be on this platform, and what you've grown by not bringing other people to along the way down to make that fame happen. Because the reality is most people on Bravo do create fame for themselves by bringing other people down. And you have so, I think, impressively navigated getting to the top in a lot of ways without having to do that. And I think that there's a place for that, and we need to make sure we celebrate a place for that, because if we don't, then we're basically enabling for everybody. The way you get to the top is by putting other people down. And I'm not about that. You know, we're not about that. And I'm just, you know, I know that you're even struggling just to even chime in because it just feels very petty and catty.
It does.
And it's not at all shocking that you have the followers that you have. And you know, but it's a hot topic to just talk about it, sure, but it's not at all shocking. And so, you know, it's a shame, but you know, we're going to give the little sound bite that we're going to give in order to just discuss it. But let's just move on, I would say.
Thank you, Nick. Like I do struggle with that. And I struggle even wanting to address this because I don't want to have to be petty back, right? And put her down. But the way you explained it is perfect. And it brings out a bigger conversation as well, which is just being on the Real Housewives franchise in general, right? And just being part of this beast, it's a blessing like you wouldn't believe to had been one of the few ladies in the world or whatever it is selected to be onto these franchises, which gives you this huge platform, right? And a voice and all of these things to like showcase your life. And it's true, a lot of the big stars, right? The ones who are the breakout stars on the Real Housewives shows have done it, unfortunately, by being the so-called villain or by being the one that's going to do something completely out of pocket and unrelatable. And the fact that I have managed to stay in charge and stay forefront as long as I have without trying to hurt someone, to me, I am going to say that that's my flex. And I think it is a flex, and I don't think it's easy. I do think it's hard, and I was struggling to say that, Nick, so thank you.
I think you guys are being so nice.
Joe can easily go to the other side, guys.
Well, I'm not going to go to the other side. I just think it's embarrassing. I mean that, to just go out there and call somebody out that's been there already. It's like me calling out a big developer for no reason. And no, you got to look up to those people because they're there anyway, right? And they're doing something right. So
right.
You have to respect people in life, and it's kind of a goal. You got to make that goal. You got to, all right, I want to achieve that goal, not sit there and look like a hater, because I believe it's embarrassing, and you just put yourself down. And if you want to grow in that aspect, shame on you, because people are looking at you thinking you're a hater, thinking that you're jealous, or maybe you are doing it for somebody. Maybe you are talking to somebody, who knows what you're doing, but that's even worse, because then you become a follower. So grow on your own. Be you, man. Be you. And shine for the stars, baby. Don't shine for the rocks. No. Yeah. Go up, baby. All right?
Joe,
That's
I
all
like
gotta
that.
Say.
Shine for the stars, not the rocks.
Not
okay,
the rocks,
baby doll.
I love it.
I
That's
did
a good,
like
construction.
That was good.
Inspirational.
But I
quote.
do think you are right. It is ballsy when someone's just in like their second season and you come at someone who's been nothing but kind, nothing like never started with you, and just to come on your second season and start throwing shade and spitting lies, it feels dirty.
But people forget, you can't forget that we have been on a show now it's been almost 13, 14 years, and it's been all about family, like real stuff. This hasn't been about friends. We've had an amazing show on family, and I'll be honest with you, babe, you took a lot of it. You took an abuse, you really did, and you still always respected everybody. You respected my family, you respected my parents and my sister, no matter what you've been through, and you've always respected me. So, and people see that. People see who you are. You're just a good person. Everywhere I go, people say how amazing your wife is. I say, I know, she's beautiful inside and out, and I do say that. So, shame on these other women. Shame on you if you can't see that, and it's an embarrassment. Sorry.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm just going to end that whole like Chanel conversation on this. Listen, if you ever need advice or you want to build something with me, like call me. I'm all about lifting each other up, helping each other out in this crazy world. Women supporting women. I would never come out anybody because they had a lot of followers and assume that they did something wrong to get them. So, I don't know. Let me know, girl. Hit me up if you want to talk. I'm here. I know Chanel's not a weak-minded individual. She's a tough, strong woman. I've seen her on the show. She's snarky, and I think she's great at what she does. So I really don't get it. So hit me up, girl, if you ever want to talk, because I'm confused. This is XOXO Melissa. Confused.
There's a limitation to the shade. It doesn't get you as far as you want to go.
That's it. And that's it. And we had to just address it, as much as I don't like to, Nick, I had to. With the Summer Olympics in full swing, hydration is key for athletes and fans. Liquid IV is extraordinary hydration for physical endurance, mental clarity, and overall well-being. A single stick of Liquid IV delivers better hydration than water alone, and 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients. Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. And trust me, guys, it really works. I make sure to carry around packets with me every single day. It's very simple. You tear, you pour, and you live more. One stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. Liquid IV has 8 vitamins and nutrients, and it's non-GMO and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. Plus, guys, there's no artificial colors or sweeteners. Turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code Melissa at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code Melissa at liquidiv.com. Being an adult has its high points, like you can eat ice cream for dinner anytime or just kicking back on your couch catching up on some reality TV. But it's not all fun. You also have to do your taxes and figure out what's for dinner every freaking night and make doctor's appointments, right? So for that one, there's ZocDoc, the healthcare app that makes adulting that much easier. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and much more. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments. I know I've said this before, but ZocDoc has personally come in handy so much for the Gorga family. Booking appointments is just super easy and saves so much time for Joe, me, and all the kids. So stop putting off doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Melissa to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Melissa. ZocDoc.com/Melissa.
All right. Well, listen, I'm a podcast host myself. I think I'm just going to take over the microphone here and just maybe, have a little more conversation about, I'm excited to talk about my wedding that we had on Bravo, which was such a blessing in so many ways because of the impact I think it's made on a lot of the viewers. But before that, I feel like marriage in general, I know watching you guys with this podcast and just how you've built up just this amazing, following for yourselves. It's in the marriage that you both share. And, it's a Saturday, 4th of July weekend. I actually have some friends over at my house right now, but I'm just going to jump in the car, going to hang out with Melissa and Joe because I love being around you two. And especially right now, I have you all to myself and it's just fun, and I literally have girlfriends that ask me do they really love each other that way? There's no way they're that obsessed with each other. Is that real? And is that real is such a common question. And it's so cool to not have to feel like I'm making up any kind of fabricated information. Yes, they are truly obsessed with each other. Yes, the idea of them going to my bachelor party or my husband's bachelor party was a huge drama in the family because they cannot be separated. They're obsessed with being together and they're just in love with each other and infatuated. And it's an inspiration for me and my husband. And just, I think it's very much a pattern in the relationships in our family. You guys do, bust each other's chops all the time, but it doesn't ever feel like there's ever tension that lingers. It's very playful and very fun. And you guys are also just very fun in general. I can't keep up being, I'm younger and it's gosh, I should be out right now. Melissa and Joe are out right now. They're doing things, and I'm trying to chill and wind down sometimes on the weekends. And you guys are just nonstop working really hard, being amazing parents, plus prioritizing your relationship, which is really cool.
Oh, well, thanks, Nick. Wait, a lot of people do ask you, huh? They ask you about our marriage.
And then what do you, she is obsessed with me. Do you tell them that? Do you tell them that?
Here we go.
And she's obsessed with me, and that's how it goes. So when the woman's obsessed with the man, it's easy, She always wants me. She always wants to have sex.
Oh my God.
Not
Oh
too
my
much.
God, guys. We all know.
Once in a while, she wants to. It's like I gotta always show her something. I can't, right, babe? Right?
Yes.
All right. Tell the truth.
That's not. No, but I think what Nick's saying is that we keep the fun in marriage, right, Nick? Is that what people ask you? they ask you about our marriage?
Yes, yeah, they do. They just think that you guys do genuinely show like how much you love each other and how fun you have in your marriage, and you just, it's very playful when you like bust each other's chops. It's never at all like looks like there's ever tension, never uncomfortable, you know. And I know like that's I think also how we choose our relationships with our friends is we love being in friendships where also, you know, people are solid in their marriage or their relationship too, because we don't like to just sit around and like talk about we're miserable. We talk about life and love and just having fun, and I think that's what we've been able to build for the lives in ourselves, is just this energy that's just very it's amazing. It's fun. It's a good time all the time. Always. We love life. We just do.
I've said this before. I do think a couple is as strong also as the people around them. So if you hang out with other couples that are not like you, that don't spend as much time together, that don't want to do what you guys want to do, and it's fine. I'm not saying you have to be in a marriage where the couple hangs out together all the time. Whatever it is that goes on in your marriage, it's best to find couples that are the most similar to your style marriage, right? So I feel like all of our friends vibe with us on a level of, they keep their marriages very similar to the way we keep ours, which is the couple that plays together stays together. And that's not the end all answer, right? And that's not for everybody, but that's what works for us. That's what works good for Joe and I. So a lot of the couples that we keep and the friends that we keep live their marriage very similarly. And I think that really does help a lot. And I will always say it. It's a great advice to keep. Find couples that are just like you. If you do spend a lot of time apart, then you should find couples that are similar to, where you're out with the girls or out with the guys, because then you're going to end up getting jealous that the one couple spends so much time together. You're going to compare your husband to that husband. Just find couples that function the way you do, and it will help the social part of your marriage. It's not going to help your bills or your parenting arguments or any of that, but it is going to help the social part of your life and like your extracurricular activity time, if that makes sense. Does that make sense, Joe?
I guess. I mean, I don't know. Yes, babe, everything makes sense. But I believe that, you know, if you really love somebody, which, you know, I really do love you, and I could be with anybody. It doesn't matter, because I know I'm coming home to you, and it's, you know, that's what I want. Right, honey?
I know, but can you give some people like any tips on to like why you think? I mean, Nick gets a lot of questions about our marriage and like how do we keep it alive? So let's just answer it before we start talking about Nick's marriage.
All right, so really, how you keep it alive is really it's respect, number one, right? Respect, loyalty. We keep fun. We gotta have fun. You gotta. I always say I want to date you. And that's why, you know, sex is very important. It really is, and spontaneous and all that nonsense, and going out and enjoying each other. And if you want to do something, if you want to go out and I don't feel like going out, I just suck it up and do it, right? And vice versa, because I got to keep you happy. You should keep me happy, because marriage is not about you anymore. It's really not. It's about us.
I don't want to mention any names, but for what you're saying, I do have a couple friends recently that are complaining because their spouse, right, just getting boring, doesn't want to do anything anymore, is not keeping the spice alive, is, you know, kind of letting go of like the fun aspects, or wanting to plan a day trip or wanting to plan a vacation. And I do think that affects marriages. It's not just about having the money to go do it. It's about take a walk, plan something, go to New York City and walk around. Like, I do think that does pull couples apart when one just starts to get like almost boring in a way, where they're just like, I don't feel like it. I don't want to go. I'd rather just stay home. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. That does cause a big rift in marriages, like a lot of the times. And I have a lot of friends and family members who are currently complaining that their spouse doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to go. So I guess we're going to just sit in the backyard because he doesn't feel like going today, or whatever it is. And I do think you do have to have a give and take when it comes to like the back and forth of a marriage. You have to go out sometimes. You have to do things that you don't want to do.
Yeah. Right? There's always, I always like, if you want to do something, I'm like, and I really don't want to go out. And I'm like, all right, if you want to do that, let's do it. Then there's times that, there's times that I want to do something. You say no, or vice versa, and you agree, but it's not like all the time, right? So you got to just, You got to help each other out. It's not about, again, I always say it's not about you anymore. It's about us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I will say, you guys and really all the relationships in our family, you always give me that gut check of like, oh, wow, you're very considerate of like your spouse before you commit to a plan. And that's something that that's what I have to work on is like, yes, I'll be there. No problem. It's like, wait, didn't you want to talk to Mike first?
Do you want to make sure Mike wants
you
to
guys
go?
have this whole process. Let me talk to Joe first, and let me get back to you. I got to talk to Melissa, or I got to talk to Kimmy, or like it's you prioritize each other, and that is not. I'm telling you, that's a huge missing piece in a lot of marriages. I know it, and I think that is one of the reasons why you guys have stood the test of time, is you really do consider each other first. It's like your default response.
Yeah, instantly, because to me that's life. My life is first I check in at home and see what Joe wants to do or what my kids are doing, or like, oh, is that a good weekend for me to go away? Well, let me check my children's schedule first to make sure that like aligns. And so that's what I do. I check in at home first before I worry about anything else. And it has worked for us. It's worked for Joe. It's worked for, it's a funny joke, Joe, if you want to talk about this, amongst Joe's friends. They don't even text Joe anymore. They text me and they're like, Melissa, can we go out with the guys on Friday? Because Joe doesn't know his schedule. He's like, they check in with me. They know that I'm.
When my boys, when they text, they go like this. They text. They're like, "Hey, Melissa, you want to go to the game? Wait, we're going to the Yankee game. Melissa, is that okay with you, Melissa?"
And I'm like, no, actually, we're booked somewhere. We have something. We're not here, Joe.
Shame.
We have an appearance, Joe. Like, he never knows the schedule.
Let's tie this up with a bow on a positive light. You guys have been married now how many years?
We are, which you're jumping in on, Nick and Marco. We are going to be married on August 20th for 20 years. 20 years, Joe and I.
That's this year, 20 years?
This
married?
year. And that's why I planned a trip. So, guys, you want to hear this funny story? I have planned a trip for Joe. So we got married Joe was 29. He turned 30 on August 21st. And we got married on August 20th. So at midnight at our wedding, it was Joe's 30th birthday. So this trip dupes as Joe's birthday trip and also our 20-year wedding anniversary. So I planned a trip. What I did was my sisters and my mother have never been to Italy. I've been a couple times, and it's just something that, my mother's getting older. I said, I want to experience, we don't have my dad, who I feel like if he was around, this would have happened a long time ago. He would have taken us all to Italy. We would have done this family trip. And it was something that each time I was in Italy, I said, I just want my sisters to experience it. I want my mom to know what Italy feels like. So because I just think it's the most magical place in the world. The Amalfi Coast to me is magic. So I decided when I got back from the Amalfi Coast last year that I was going to book the trip for this year for Joe's birthday and for our 20th wedding year anniversary. Well, I book a villa in Positano. I book a couple nights in Capri for a hotel. And I do it. I invite my sisters, their husbands, and my mom and my children because I want my kids there for my husband's birthday. And so I randomly get a phone call. So we're going to do the flight information. Like, where are we staying? Is there room in that villa for me? I'm like, oh my God, Nick just invited himself to Italy. Like, this is how our family works. Nick,
yes.
Tell the people you
surprised?
Invited yourself.
I mean, are you surprised? We're going to Boca this week. You didn't ask me to go. I'm just coming along because I basically just need access to your calendar because it makes it a lot easier.
Yes.
But I am definitely the family member who some think I'm getting invited all the time. No. I just actively figure out what's going on in the family that's exciting, and I make a point to say I'd like to be there. And, I can be there, which is also, I think, part of it, too, is I can jump on a plane within like 2 days' notice and make it happen, having a flexibility in my schedule. But, my husband's never been to Italy. And we're making a honeymoon out of it, which is, of course, incredible by having some alone time first, prioritizing the
you
relationship.
are staying in your own hotel. You aren't staying in a villa with us.
Only because there's not enough beds. Otherwise,
I thought
we'd
it would
happy
be
to.
a little tight, but I would, of course, love to have you because, of course,
we're going to Italy together. Like, this is incredible. Like, we should never not, like, I mean, this next time it's got to be a bigger villa with more people, but amazing. Like, we're doing it in Italy, the motherland. This is incredible.
It is pretty incredible, right?
But
and
yes, I invited myself.
Excited.
Who cares? I have no shame about that. I'm the opportunity coach. I love opportunity.
Right. And so here's a little.
I remember when Melissa was like, I didn't want to marry an Italian. I didn't want an Italian. Now she's got an Italian. 20 years later, she eats Italian food almost every night, baby. That's right.
Oh my God!
That's right. And you're celebrating in Italy.
Joe, are you excited
lucky.
to go make memories? Isn't it cute that we're going with my sisters and my mom? Like, I just think, and now we have Nick and Mike coming. I just think it's going to be such a memory for all of us. It's going to be great.
You know
right?
what? You know, I'm all about love and family. That's what I enjoy, man. And this is going to be the most amazing trip because it's what I love, man. I just love to be happy with everybody and enjoy and create those memories so we could talk about it. And, it's the best feeling,
Joe, do you get annoyed that Nick or my family members just invite themselves to our trips?
No, I want more the merrier. I love it. I don't care.
No, you're so easy. You really are. You're easy.
Yeah, and you guys are definitely the type, too, to be like, we need to just be the two of us this time. So sorry, you can't come this time, but no problem. Next time for sure. And,
right.
and that's, again, prioritizing your marriage and your relationship, which is good.
Right.
That's probably what I need to do more because I'm all about, do you want to come too? And Mike's like, weren't we supposed to go just the two of us? You're like, okay, you're right. Which,
yeah, sometimes you just need the alone time. Sometimes you just need to be alone with your family and or with your husband. The last thing I'm going to say about traveling on a getaway with your partner is that the destination, guys, isn't going to bring the romance, right? The romance has to be brought by the people to the destination, if that makes sense. Summer is here. Plenty of time to enjoy everything you love about summer, but it kind of depends on what you do right now. Your choice, weeks or months of calorie counting and boot camp gyms, or lose the fat and inches in one single visit to Sono Bello. Sono Bello is the only way to permanently lose fat and inches. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a faster, comfortable one-visit technique. Wherever you have stubborn fat, tummy, sides, thighs, arms, or even saggy, loose, jiggly skin. With micro laser fat removal, it's gone permanently. Sono Bello gives you your curves back. No more feeling embarrassed, shy, and uncomfortable. No more hiding under baggy clothes instead of shorts and t-shirts. Give yourself the gift of a full body reset. Learn about one visit micro laser fat removal. Schedule your free consultation today. Ask about Sono Bello's spectacular summer savings going on now. Visit sonobello.com/Melissa. sonobello.com/Melissa. Guys, you know how crazy I am about my skincare, right? Small, easy changes in your routine can have amazing results. And your secret weapon should be Dime Beauty. Dime Beauty is clean, high-end skincare that is affordable. And it really, really works. Dime didn't sacrifice performance just to make it clean either. And when I say clean, Dime is 100% transparent about every single ingredient. So you can use their products daily with confidence. So I wanted to take the guesswork out of my routine. So I started with their Works collection. I don't have to remember the order of a 10-step routine. No one has time for that. I especially do not. The Work system is everything you need in one powerful package. It includes a gentle cleanser, a toner, 2 incredible serums, and 2 luxurious moisturizers. Plus, Dime's sold out retinol alternative, the TBT cream, is finally back in stock. Check that out while you're there. Imagine all the benefits without the peeling, the redness, and all the other issues that come with a retinol. Yes, please. Love your skin again. Go to dimebeautyco.com now and unlock 20% off when you use code Melissa20. That's dimebeautyco.com. Use code Melissa20 for 20% off. You are going to love this stuff. Anyway, Nick, let's just discuss. Let's give a little behind the scenes of what went down on the episode of The Real Housewives of New Jersey when we showed your wedding, which I just want to say touched so many people's lives. I know I reposted a couple. There was thousands of messages. I reposted a very few of the people out there, from mothers, from aunts, from gay men themselves, from you name it, saying like, wow, this has touched me in such a way. I am about to do this with my son, and to see the love that was in the, and they didn't get to see a lot of this wedding. And you guys don't even know, you didn't get to see the half of it. Like, we did not allow cameras to go into the reception. So a lot of people were like, why did Bravo cut this so short? Like, it was so short. And what was short is the ceremony. They could have showed you so much more of the ceremony, because Joe was hysterical, actually. We were in shock over what he was able to do. And if you want to check Instagram out.
Ooh, shock.
Joe, I'm sorry. We did not think you were going to. We didn't think you were going to pull it off like that. Like, I thought you were going to hit the basics.
No.
I didn't think you were going to go above and beyond and make it funny and make it, because I thought you were so scared, which Nick can explain why you were so scared. But, you know, the production company ran into a couple bumps along the way.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, we could say my father was definitely
not feeling
your
it.
Typical, Italian father who he's always been. You don't hear much about my father intentionally. He's not like a big reality TV guy. And so the idea of Bravo and your son's wedding, just didn't really make him feel good. And
right.
So he had a power move play where he basically just said, to the camera crew, this is when you're going to start and this is when you're going to stop. And that's it. I'm the father. And was probably a little scary. And as much as it was stressful and didn't make me very happy in the moment, I love my father so much, and I respect him, and he is who he is, and I think everyone else also has the same views when it comes to my dad, especially.
Yes.
But, I loved my reception and how it was really the most magical room I've ever been in my entire life, especially for being that it was my wedding. And, so definitely check out, our Instagram pages and my wedding vendors were incredible, and, what they created during the reception. It does make it very special that it was private, but it was a shame that you guys didn't get the cameras to at least get a peek.
Well, I made sure I Instagrammed a lot of videos and a lot of pictures, and you can watch the full entire ceremony of how Joe worked that out on Nick's Instagram, actually. He's at Nick Marco CEO. Is that what it is
Nicolas Marco _CEO, because we could have the debate actually right now if you want, cousin, because she will not call me Nicholas. She refuses to call me Nicholas.
Never. I don't
Nick
like the
is
name
hot.
Nicholas.
Nicholas, she just won't do it. And
and
we
I'm
have
so
to make
mad.
I have to make a decision about this soon, because it's like such a topic by you. Like, we
is.
cannot.
Like, I like
what are you
Nick
doing?
Marco. I like
you give
short
me
names.
all the hotties that just they're Nicks. They're not Nicholases. That's what she says.
Yeah,
and,
like Nick's
trying to be
a hot
professional.
name, and I don't think that like Nicholas just sounds older and like professional and like I like short. Look at my son Gino. Like, I like Gino Gorga. I like short names. That's
How about
what
Joe?
I like.
Is Joe's hot?
Joe's hot. Yeah, all Joes are hot,
Yeah,
right?
right.
I
Yes,
feel like
yeah.
Joes are a hot commodity. They're typically little Italian boys, little Italian boys. Yes, they are. But that's, I think they're hot commodities.
It's a power move to embrace your full name. That's all I have to say
It's
about
a
that.
power move to embrace. My full name's Melissa. They
Yeah,
call me.
you don't-
They call
yeah.
me Missy G, but my
We
name's
do.
Melissa.
Missy. We love saying Missy. You're
All right,
right.
but wait, we have to explain. So we are filming just like the getting ready, hair and makeup of Nick's wedding, right, guys? And the cameramen roll in. They love to get the behind the scenes. You got to see a little bit of that of us sitting on the couches. Like, I had my robe on. They did show you a little of that. Well, that is when my godfather, who Nick's dad is my dad's brother, and he's also my godfather, to explain how we're related. We are first cousins. Our dads are brothers. And he is a very strong-willed man. He's the kindest heart. He's a charitable man. He's an amazing, successful man. He created the whole Hand and Stone massage. He's an entrepreneur on so many levels. He's a success in his own right. But he kind of wanted to be, he put his foot down at the wedding and was like, yeah, who are you? Basically to the production people and crew. And he was just like, you guys got to get out of here. And they were like, well, we're here to film the wedding. And he was just like, really? And then he kind of was looking at me and I was like, Nick, did you tell your dad this was going to be filmed?
Of course he knew. I think that if he was trying to play that angle, very creative, very smart, good on his part. I don't know what else to say to that.
Did you tell him, Nick? Did you tell him?
Yes, of course.
Was he
knew.
fully aware that they were going to film the reception?
Well, I don't blame him because that it is his son's wedding. I mean, he wanted it special. He don't know what the cameras were going to do. So who knows?
Yeah. Unfortunately, the dynamic of family and Real Housewives, you don't really have much leg to stand on in the sense of why he would be nervous.
After seeing my son's christening, yes, I understand.
But I do
that,
think,
for sure.
and I appreciate Bravo for making that happen, is it was finally a moment to show love, happiness, something to celebrate, a nice moment, breaking up the drama a little bit,
right.
and really showcasing. The one moment they showcased was actually probably one of the best ones to showcase, which was really just my cousin Joe acknowledging, really on his own right, that it was very much a burden when he would always ask me about the ladies my whole life. And he recognized that on his own after, when I did come out, how reflecting back, he's like, wow, that's a shame that I was doing that to you, not even realizing that it was probably, making it even harder for you to just break free and just accept that, no, you're not going to ever have a relationship with a woman. It's just never going to happen. And I finally, accepted that in myself and came out, and there was just this amazing celebration in our family and kudos given to me for doing it. And I had so many people message me saying, I have these men in my family, and to see this happen has given me the confidence to come out, or just maybe they'll see it and it'll give them a little bit of that gut check of there is power in your words and your presence, and you just don't know how it's impacting somebody else that you have no intentions of hurting, but it could create a burden. I thought it was beautifully described, because I never heard you say that, and the word burden really makes a lot of sense, because it was this lift that happened, this weight off my shoulders, but it was something that I carried for years, and
right.
So
I remember when he went to college and he went to Penn State, and I'm like, yeah, what are you doing now? You know me, I'm just a guy's guy, so I'm like, you taking the girls back? What are you doing? How many are you knocking them? You getting them? What are you doing at night? How many? And he's like, yeah. You used to yes me to death. He would, and I'm like, how many did you get this week? It was that intense, and he was just yes me and say yes, and I'm doing it, but little did I know he wasn't doing it.
Yeah. No, and it's true. I was lying. That was hard too. I'm not a liar, but I had to kind of come up with something to shut him up. At some point I was just like, oh my God. It got to the point where I would have to avoid him, because it was so hard to just fake, not be yourself authentically. So
you would avoid Joe just so that he didn't ask you these questions?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Soon if I hear
and now
the
he's your
conversation.
best friend. How funny is that?
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
How funny is that? And you know what else is funny? There was some people on Instagram too, of course there's always a hater. Where there's a lover, there's a hater.
Always.
And they'd be like, oh, what is this? Why are you giving us this random cousin? And they're probably not even tight or close, and they're just having Joe officiate this wedding. And it's so crazy to me that there can be such love. Wherever there's love, there is hate. People, you need to know that we are so tight. We travel together. We holiday together. We spend Sundays together. Tomorrow is Sunday, right? What will we do tomorrow, Nick? What are we going to do?
We're hanging out.
Family's in a group text. Quarantine
That's
cousins. We are quarantine cousins. We just start texting. Where are we going? What are we doing? We're extremely tight. So,
yeah. So, and then just thank you for all the amazing comments, and to thank the both of you. You didn't have to try to go through this, the nonsense that it can be sometimes with camera crew to make this happen. But I think, you both recognized that this was an opportunity to showcase something that would make a positive impact and hopefully change some people's lives.
Oh, for sure. And Andy Cohen loved it. He loved the concept. He had said to me, Melissa, you know, when I was on Watch What Happens Live, he said, Melissa, wait till you, like, I absolutely loved this scene. And it's such a beautiful moment. And especially for Joe as well, like showing how nervous. Joe, do you want to talk about how nervous you were and like how my uncle stressed you out as well? And you went in there, guys, I think it did show. And if you could see Antonia the whole time, she was like, oh my God, he's so nervous. Oh my God, he's shaking. Oh my God, he's nervous. Like you can hear Antonia in the clips say that. Tell them what my uncle did to you.
I really wasn't nervous at all throughout the week coming up, the day. Only, you know, even that day or the night before, it was only when Uncle Johnny just started flipping out and when the camera showed up and the way he was acting, and I'm like, oh my God. And what's going to happen? What if I say something wrong? Is he not? Am I going to make this special moment, you know, something bad? And it just started fucking with my head, you know, and your mind is everything. And I was just getting nervous, and everything I thought about in my heart, I forgot about, you know, and I had to do it all over again. And the nerves just took over me. And every time, and what the worst thing was when I was sitting on that podium right there, right in front of me was your dad, Uncle Johnny.
I
was just looking at, we were looking eye to eye the whole time. And it was so difficult. People, no one understands, because I don't care about whoever's in. There could be thousands of people in that audience. I don't care, but your dad was everything. He was eating me up, and I was shaking. I really was shaking. It would have came out a lot nicer. Think how talented I am, bro.
No, but Joe, you did it awesome. No, Joe, I'm not even, like, I'm telling you, we were so impressed. Like,
Very
we had no
impressed.
idea. That's why I was a little upset Bravo didn't show more of what you actually said, because you threw in some really funny, like, one-liners in there and, like, weird, like, almost like advice that was like, wow, that's my husband saying those things. Like, you did bring in some funny twists and turns. On Display with Melissa Gorga is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Let's face it, sometimes multitasking can be overwhelming. Like when your favorite podcast is playing and the person next to you is talking and your car fan is blasting, all while you're trying to find the perfect parking spot. But then again, sometimes multitasking is easy, like quoting with Progressive Insurance. They do the hard work of comparing rates so you can find a great rate that works for you, even if it's not with them. Give their easy-to-use comparison tool a try, and you might just find getting the rate and coverage you deserve is super easy. All you need to do is visit Progressive's website to get a quote with all the coverages you want, like comprehensive and collision coverage or personal injury protection. Then you'll see Progressive's direct rate, and their tool will provide options from other companies all lined up, ready to compare, so it's simple to choose the rate and coverage that you like. Press play on comparing auto rates. Quote at Progressive.com and join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
With the $5 meal deal at McDonald's, you pick a McDouble or a McChicken, then get a small fry, a small drink, and a 4-piece McNuggets. That's a lot of McDonald's for not a lot of money.
Price and participation may vary. For a limited time only.
And also, guys, here's another little cue about that episode. There was Margaret and Dolores also did come to the wedding, and after the ceremony was over, which, by the way, guys, you know we weren't supposed to be in a tent. Like, his wedding team was so amazing that they we were supposed to be on this lake outside, and it was downpouring during the ceremony, as you guys saw. They transformed this tent into the most magical, gorgeous tent with the flowers that he had at this wedding were unbelievable. It was a Kardashian style. Like, that's how I can explain it, because that's what they do above and beyond. Like, Nick, wow, like you cut costs.
Nope.
You went all in. Like, that was your moment. And if you guys could have seen how they transformed this tent, I think you could see it a little bit. But to be there and see the magic of the flowers and the velvet and the colors that were put together for this fall wedding, you guys would have died. Like, I was just upset that we couldn't even give you like a glimpse of what the reception room looked like, because it was just magical. And it was a whole weekend. We stayed there for the whole entire weekend, the whole family. We played games. It was a magical, if I can go back, I would go back tomorrow, but I just can't forget Uncle Johnny's face staring at us like, why did you bring this TV show here?
But I have to say, when I was done, he was so happy.
He was.
He was crying. He was laughing. He was clapping. He's like, yes! So I was like, it was over.
Oh, my God.
So nothing on my paper. I believe I might have read 2 or 3 lines. Everything else just came off the cuff because I was so nervous. It was so bad. That's how much I love you, bro. You see, it comes off the cuff.
You did awesome.
You did an amazing job. No,
Were you happy, Nick?
You exceeded expectations. You really did. Because I was definitely nervous. You could even see me at one point during the ceremony, almost like having to like try to guide him back because the control freak in me can't help myself. But I've done 4 wedding ceremonies myself, so it was like also me trying to be helpful to my cousin, but it's my wedding, so you want to just be able to trust and let it go, and I did, and you made it so special. I have watched my wedding ceremony so many times. I feel so lucky to have this it's like watching a movie, if you really watch the ceremony that you did. You really just communicated such an amazing message, gave us such great advice, acknowledged us in our relationship, and sent us off to an amazing evening.
You really did.
So I
we
loved
partied,
it.
and then there was an after party. And I did ask.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I asked Andy, or not Andy. I asked one of it was production, like what happens. Why? Because they didn't show Margaret and Dolores and I having like a conversation. And you know what they said? They had a really good reason for it. You know what? It was such a beautiful moment that we didn't want to bring the drama of like the fights and what was going on. Like we wanted to keep this just a beautiful moment. And when we went to put it out there, it just felt right to leave it ended with this beautiful moment of these 2 men, marrying each other, with Joe officiating it the way he did. They said that was the end of it. We didn't want to put drama into that episode as well, which I think makes perfect sense. And I respect that. And now I get it. And I understand why it kind of capped right there. And it was kind of short, sweet, to the point, and meaningful. It was a meaningful moment, which we don't always get on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. But for everyone, just to like button that off, for everyone that messaged, we read your messages. We love that we touched you. I really, really love that we had this moment. So, Nick, thank you for allowing us to put it on our show and to showcase.
My pleasure.
All right, Nick, before we go, we need to talk about your podcast, The Opportunity Coach.
Thank
Nick
you.
has a new podcast out. Nick, tell me about the podcast, what you do on the podcast. Talk to me.
Yeah, well, I'm an entrepreneur of multiple businesses, multiple brands. I run an organization with over 500 employees, and I am definitely this young, hungry entrepreneur who loves to scale, and I see life as just an overwhelming, nonstop, just playground of opportunity. And so the name of my podcast, The Opportunity Coach, just plays on the fact that I like to be in this coaching role for people, whether it's people that work for me, whether it's family members or friends that are looking to be business owners or entrepreneurs, or they already are and they want to take it to the next level. It's your mindset, to me, that opens doors. And so I just see every problem as an opportunity, and I try to seek that in conversations with entrepreneurs, owners, business owners, leaders, anybody that comes on my podcast. Or I'll have a solo episode, which I did once too already, and that was a lot of fun. So I just like to inspire people. I feel fortunate if I have a voice that I like to use it. And podcasts, which really was an inspiration from you, Missy, was something that made a lot of sense. And so my ultimate goal in life would be like a shark on Shark Tank, because I just love that they can within 5 minutes give real advice where they say, you just don't have a business, this isn't going to work, or hell yes, your business is amazing, I want to invest and help you go to the next level. That show has truly changed people's lives. It's all about the American dream. And so I just want a little taste of that, and we'll see where it goes.
Wow.
So Opportunity Coach is the podcast, and it's available on all platforms, and really just getting started with the momentum there.
Well, let me just say, first of all, I'm happy that you were inspired by coming on this podcast. I love that, by the way. And I love what I really love about you is that you just make shit happen, Nick. Like, you have no hesitation in you. And I think that's probably your strongest asset that you don't even realize, that you are a we're going to do it person. You are a yes person. As crazy and cliche as that may sound, you are, yes, there's no excuses. Let's do it. And let's do it tomorrow. Like, that's Nick. You are very like, put your 2 feet forward, get what you want, go for it, try it. So I do think that is such a valuable piece of you, that for the people out there that don't know Nick, you are very much a tiger in that aspect, where you were blessed with a beautiful life with beautiful opportunities, but you don't settle. Like, you take the little bit of opportunity that you have, the people that you know, the businesses that your father has created, and you don't sit back and say, I'm going to sit back because I'm good here. You want to triple, you want to double, you want to move out into total different avenues that have nothing to do with your father, that he doesn't even know anything about. And you create, and you are young, Nick. You're still young, you're thriving, and I'm very proud of you for just being such a strong force with yes, and like, we are going to do it. And the way that you just try it, and you might, and so far nothing hasn't, there wasn't much that hasn't worked for you, right? Like, and knock on wood, but you really are a go-getter in every sense of the word, and you make shit happen.
Thank you.
I mean, you have guests come on, and Joe, I want to hear what you think about, Nick and the way he's an entrepreneur as well, but just for your podcast, you having guests come on that are bigger entrepreneurs, say, than you are.
Yeah.
And that are giving advice on business, how to move forward in business. Is there a dream guest that you'd love to have on?
Oh, Mark Cuban would be a dream guest, or Mr. Wonderful. Both of those from Shark Tank. I love their approach. Robert as well from Shark Tank. I can't help but think of Shark Tank because I get to see them so much through the show. But there's so many out there. I just, Howard Stern is like an inspiration as far as having a podcast, because I love how he interviews and he asks the questions that I think a lot of people just, they
shy away from.
I'm going to say something controversial with the Celine Dion documentary, because it was funny. I was having like a good powwow with one of the producers of your show, Housewives, because he said like it was a shame there was moments where they didn't ask her like a good question, and like they could have taken that documentary, I think, to even the next level. So I love the stories in people's lives. And frankly, yes, Mark Cuban and Robert and Mr. Wonderful, they're great. But like, I've already had some really impressive people that don't have that kind of platform, but they're very inspiring. And I've become a better business owner and entrepreneur already just by having the interviews that I've had, because I learn a lot. I operate through dialogue. Like, every time we talk, I'm like writing things down in my mind because of like ideas that come up. And so, I would love to, though, of course, have the bigwigs, and that's the goal.
Well, I know a couple where the husband's a very successful developer and the wife is a very successful boutique owner and entrepreneur herself. So if you ever want to have them on, as guests, you might, I might have a hookup for you.
Yeah, maybe.
Just saying.
Maybe. We're there.
I got you guys.
You got it.
Yeah. And Joe, I feel like, Joe, everyone has learned from the best also, though they've learned from you, right? Who you've always been such an entrepreneur in your own right. And you've been someone who your father came into this country not knowing the language, and he was a shoemaker. And you somehow created this company that you own now, and you're a developer, and you have buildings all over New Jersey, and you convert warehouses into apartment buildings. And do you have any advice for Nick or for the people out there and just in business?
No, Nick's on his path, man. I can't give him advice. Nick, you're doing great. You're amazing, and I look up to you, man. And that's what's great. And what's great about this family is that we look up to each other. I'm not here to try to compete and one up you. No. I just want you to keep doing it and get bigger. And the bigger you get, the happier I get. And that's what I meant about this other thing last time about these housewives. You gotta lift people up instead of trying to take them down.
Right. And with that ending, I will say our family we do have unconditional love, but we all take accountability. And that is a huge part of making a great family, a great friend, a great anything. You need to take accountability for what goes on in your marriage, in your relationships, in your families. And I think that we are all really great at taking accountability when it's our turn to take it. And we're just happy to be here. We're happy to give you a little piece of us. And Nick, we cannot wait to listen to more episodes of The Opportunity Coach. I feel like you're doing awesome on that. I feel like it's another avenue for people who really want to break out and do more in business and hear advice. And they might not have the opportunity to have conversations with successful small business owners or huge CEOs for that matter. I think another huge guest for you would be your father. If I'm being honest. Absolutely. He is the Mongol of it all. And I've watched him before you were born try to make the first ever VCR movie maker, which was no one at the time. We had these big VCRs that we would hold, and my father had one and my uncle had one. And he came out with the first ever box that you would be able to go to the store and buy with a movie kit so that you can make a movie in your house. It would come complete with the script, and it would come with the props that you would need to make your own,
Hollywood Make a Movie, it was called.
What was it called?
Hollywood Make a Movie kits.
Make a Movie kit.
I remember. We got to get the footage of these old videos. So funny.
Yes, he started there, and that was his entrepreneur, but it didn't work, right? So try again. And then he bought the phone number when everyone was buying 800 numbers. My uncle went ahead and bought 1-800-MASSAGE. Smart man, right? So there's things and there's tricks to the trade. So Nick's got all those tricks up his sleeves. And so you guys definitely want to listen to The Opportunity Coach. I'm very excited about that. I'm sure Joe and I will be a guest.
Absolutely.
Very soon. Thank you, Joe and Nick, for coming on to the podcast. You are two of my favorite men in my lives, and I couldn't be me without the two of you. So, and you're both so inspiring, and you're the true meaning of what good men are, and both for different reasons. But you're both amazing guys, and you're a great example to the society of just a good human being. So we're going to end on that today. I love you guys. Say bye to everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Of course. We love you.
Bye, everybody.
We love you, Joe Gorga.
Love you, babe. Love you, everybody.
Everybody's a Joe Gorga fan.
Peace.
We love you guys. Ciao. Bye.
I can feel the weight of it pushing down on me. I can feel everyone's eyes watching me. I can feel the heat of the spotlight shine on me. I can feel the pressure on body. Got me feeling all of these feelings, and it's driving me insane. Paparazzi watching me do my thing, 'cause I'm on display, on display, on display. Every day, every day, every day. Everybody's waiting on me to fall. Everybody's waiting on me to crawl, but they can keep on waiting on me, waiting on me, waiting on me to fall. Waiting on me, waiting on me, waiting on me to fall.
Hey girlies, I'm Cody Rigsby.
And I'm Andrew Chappelle.
We're here to announce our brand new podcast, Tactful Pettiness.
Now on PodcastOne.
We have a lot of opinions. Flip-flops in New York City? You don't love yourself.
If I'm not seated, I'm not tipping.
Do I want to see a picture of your baby?
No. If I have to scroll more than 10 seconds, he's not cute.
Settling gets you an ugly boyfriend. So we're going to help you out.
We sure are, because we have the life expertise.
We have mastered throwing shade with intention.
We We are in the business of helping you find and keep your man.
And we're here to teach you the fine art of tactful pettiness.
Join us each week as we traverse the world of pop culture,
Chat with our celebrity friends,
and show you how to accept yourself without taking life too seriously.
get new episodes of Tactful Pettiness with me, Cody Rigsby,
And me, Andrew Chappelle.
every Thursday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and anywhere you get your podcasts. Stay petty, bestie.
Got summer movie plans? Pluto TV's Summer of Cinema has hundreds of free movies to stream all summer long, no matter where you are or what you have planned. Turbocharge your summer viewing with Sonic the Hedgehog, or rock out while watching Rocket Man. Stay classy with Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, or go behind enemy lines streaming Saving Private Ryan. For all your summer plans or for no plans at all, download the Pluto TV app to stream free movies anytime. Summer of Cinema on Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Do you want a bra that's sexy or do you want a bra that's comfortable? Well, that was a trick question because I know you want a bra that's both. And now you can have that thanks to Third Love. Third Love was started to take all the frustration and the ick and the ugh out of bra shopping. That's why they make solutions for every bra problem, aka Brablems. They put every style through hours of wear testing on real women, including themselves, before it's given the stamp of boob approval. This means that comfort and support are guaranteed. And ladies, at Third Love, size doesn't matter. Whether you're a double A cup or an H cup, their virtual fitting room will help you find your perfect fit fast. They even invented half cups, which is pretty genius. So no more feeling stuck between two cup sizes that don't fit. It's time to get your problems solved. Visit thirdlove.com and get $15 off your order with code PODCAST15.